everyone, and welcome back to a Supernatural review. In this video, we're talking about season 5, episode 15, Dead Man Don't Wear Plaid. If you're new to this, I talk about a Supernatural episode here. You guys comment below your thoughts, and that's it. I review it. So I read the description of this episode, and I was like, I think it's this episode because it's actually like an episode you kind of always remember about, or at least I did. It's a particularly memorable episode, probably because I don't know, maybe because it's oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. Is it Jones? You know, the woman. This is her first episode, and also I think it's something that, you know, they weren't thinking that she would be in future episodes, or what ended up really happening for her character. Oh my god, you can see how bad my tan is, guys. This is a week ago. I'm putting on aloe nonstop. Anyway, but I think it was something where she would maybe it's this thing where maybe they wanted to see if there's potential for the future, but especially because she has some sort of relationship with Bobby that they were just kind of, they wrote her character and maybe people liked the character, maybe the writers liked the character, maybe, you know, the crew liked the actress, so that's why we see her in the future. But this is her first episode. So basically this was zombies, and I'm trying to think, have we had zombies before? I feel like we kind of had, but maybe a little bit different. This was clear zombie episode, I guess, people rising from the dead, and so, you know, the writers always want to do new things. So since, even though I feel like we've seen kind of some version of zombies that I'm also not coming to mind, so maybe not, they wanted an episode about zombies, and they were able to kind of tie it into death, who we didn't get to see this episode, but we see in the future. This episode I feel like is a very okay episode. There's things about it that are good and things about it which is bad, which I feel like the last few episodes have all been that way, which is interesting because there's so many good episodes of this season that, you know, they have these few okay episodes that people probably think are a little bit worse than they actually are, just because of where they are. But it's kind of interesting that we're getting 3 back-to-back okay episodes, and I can't remember the next episode. This is kind of at the bottom of my worst list. There's some good things about it and some bad things about it. It's all these times. So it's interesting that it is where Bobby lives in the Sioux Falls thing, and I don't know, I wonder if they just had it at some point somewhere else, and then we're what if we tie in Bobby, what if we you know, take a different approach. I always wonder if the writers do that, or if they knew right away they wanted it to be with Bobby and whatever. I think about this episode, I could have seen this episode in season 1 or season 2, where it's just a random town that they go to and people are raising from the dead. It has that same ideal, and I think that's what I'm starting to realize is the difference between those first 2 seasons versus this season, coming up seasons, is that, you know, they could have had the same idea and kind of taken very similar approaches with it, but it's because they now tie it in more to the overarching thing of the season, and tie it more to them, and make it more personalized in a way, which in the first 2 seasons it's kind of just a hut and they're doing it. So I kind of would have been interested to see if this was a season 2 episode, how that would have been different, because it probably wouldn't include Bobby, it probably wouldn't be in this town, it probably would be less personal, just people's in that town, their dead ones are being raised. So anyway, yeah, it's a little bit weird that they're first there's nothing wrong with this town, and then it's no, people are rising from the dead, and they're just letting it be. It's so especially Bobby, it's Bobby, you know, you're a hunter, you know these things, you know all this stuff, how could you whatever. But that's why I guess they made it personal, because of his dead wife, and maybe that's why they chose him rather than other hunters or whatever. And we also haven't seen Bobby in a while, and it's what can we do with Bobby, because he's still in a wheelchair. So I think I guess in the sense that they were gonna choose a character and make it more personalized, this makes sense. But you know, they could have gone it where it was Dean or Sam and raised maybe their mother or something, because that's always, you know, mother. But I think, you know, because probably they didn't have the correct perspective with it. But then again, if it was them, they wouldn't. I'm going in circles. But anyway, of course it's gonna turn bad. And then at the end they were coming up to Bobby, which then they try to explain, and like I feel like lately it's Supernatural when they have to explain things like too much. It's like maybe you shouldn't do that. Like maybe it shouldn't do, like maybe it it's just bad. It's just bad. It's like kind of like in a movie TV show where they have to explain too much of like the backstory at the beginning. Like if you know, you're like, this is my mom, this is my dad. Like it's not good writing and it's not good, and it's like you should be able to show that. But I feel like that part was kind of dumb. Like Death was coming after him because he's helping them. Like it just was such a dumb excuse. But I think the writers wanted there to be a scene where like Dean and Bobby are fighting them, and it's like hard because Bobby's also in a wheelchair. And so that's why they had to come up with the idea where they were like coming after Bobby forever. I'm trying to forget like some of the good things that happened this episode. I don't know. I mean, there was a few like good like camera angles. I guess I remember that. I also like the title of this episode. And it's funny because they do wear plaid, but even though it's not about them. So yeah, it was overall just like a very okay episode, and that's just kind of where we are. And it's, I think maybe also it's her first episode. I'm forgetting the character's name. Joe? I'm like, no, we already have Joe. I'm like really bad with names, guys. But anyway, I'm gonna end here. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.